Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream here. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Happy Thursday, April 24th. Before we jump onto the charts, make sure you read what's on the screen here. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing you see or hear from me here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. It's for entertainment purposes only. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures and some of the other things that you see here on this stream. Now, let's hop into it. Markets are open, 9:34 a.m. We are going to be taking a look at MES. Same stuff, same boring stuff that we do every day here, trying to make some money in these markets. I have three 150K Top 1 Futures accounts. If you want to check these out for yourself, these are straight to funded, no evaluation prop accounts. $6,000 max loss in each of them. I have three of them getting copy traded together, and we're going to see what we can do. So let's start the stream the same way that I usually do. Hop out to the daily, take a look at what we got going on with these markets. We got through some red folder news today, this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I'll check out news with you guys in just a moment, but we'll do some top-down analysis, kind of take a look at what we got going on the daily, all the way down to the trading time frames, 15-minute to 1 minute. But I've really been liking the 15-minute, man. Really been liking the 15-minute. So taking a look at this chart today, kind of interesting, right? There's a lot of markup overlapping, obviously, on the daily chart when I zoom out like this. But we opened up yesterday with a gap up and really started to push towards these highs. I got long. Obviously, that did not play really nice with me. We came back down, put this like almost no wick to the downside daily candle with a long wick to the upside. Now we dipped down into that gap. We didn't come back down over here to the 22nd, 2 days ago's candle. Was that Tuesday? Yeah. But we did come into this gap, didn't quite close it. And now we've pushed back up. We got a little bit of a doji forming right into this open. So not really beautiful structure off the daily. Higher time frame view, we came down, bottomed out, big push up. Obviously a lot of geopolitical, the US administration impacting a lot of this movement. Pulled back down, tried to come back up, break out from the highs, didn't happen. Pulled back down, back to this area, found some support, found buyers, ran it up. I was looking at this to potentially break out and really run yesterday. Didn't get that, and now we're back down. We swept the low of this, but kind of just back down within yesterday's range. Not really looking very directional one way or the other. So we're going to have to see what we get out of this one today. If we start to open up in one direction, like we're kind of coming to the upside right here, this could look like a run back up towards these highs that could be in store. Conversely, we start to come back down on this and sell off. I could easily see us at least just coming back down, maybe through the 53.30s to close this gap out, back down to this area where you could see a lot of daily closures and tops and bottoms of wicks. But so far looking somewhat bullish, flipping this candle to a longer wick to the downside, at least doji right now, but not a lot of movement so far. Coming down to the 15-minute, you take a look at the markings on my chart, just scrolling out, scrolling back in. A lot of this is overlapping just because we didn't get so much movement. I also have prior week's volume profile overlapping, so this is a little bit messy on my chart. I might start cleaning some of this up. It's just a little bit too much of overlapping levels. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this volume profile for right now because I have the levels coming off of it, right? Prior day value area high, point of control, and value area low. So we're sitting right around prior day volume point of control. We're above VWAP on the 15-minute here. We are at this area of high volume, right? Zoomed out. If I had to make a higher time frame case for a move to the upside or downside, what would I be looking at? We come outside of where we're sitting right now to the upside. We break overnight high. Yeah, overnight high from right over here. I think we're likely to come up, check out the 430s, potentially push higher towards yesterday's value area high, this area of high volume up here, pretty obvious level, the mid 460s. We start to come down below the 390s, let's say. I'd be looking for a move to the downside past prior day low, right? Closing out this gap, maybe coming down through this area of low volume to this area of high volume right down here, right? Closing the gap. That would just kind of be some higher time frame speculation. I don't trade that specifically, but I like to have an understanding, right? If we start to do this, What's the next area of interest on my chart? I've got them above and below. But directionally, right here, right now, not super duper clear, right? We opened up, drifted lower, found some buyers here, pre-market, London, and we came back above VWAP. Again, this is the 15-minute chart. This is somewhat zoomed out. But that's what I'm kind of looking at right here. I'm tempted, honestly, to stay on the 15-minute chart today and just trade this wider. I've been having really good results doing it. It's very stress-free. I love the 1 minute. I like getting involved. I like getting aggressive. But this market's been choppy and tough on low time frames. So, you know, I don't have an ego, right? I'm just going to do what the data is showing me is working best, right? Like, that's pretty much how I trade. I review my trading. I do a little bit more of what is working, a little bit less of what's not working. I don't know. It seems to work well for me. We could watch the 1 minute together, but again, I'm really going to be taking into consideration this 15-minute chart. Yeah, we're going to start to try to push this to the upside. I would be tempted on a quick long off of this, man. Again, I talk about staying patient a lot, which I want to do. I'm going to say at least another 5 minutes. The first 15 minutes, I think for me, is really key to stay patient. But we did break to the upside, pull back down through VWAP. And, you know, we don't have that on some days like yesterday where we didn't test VWAP. And I was cautious on longs initially. We tested VWAP coming back above. This looks pretty clean for longs to the upside. It's just a little bit too early for me to get involved personally, but, you know, so far, gun to my head, I'm long, stop loss down below VWAP for an extension to the upside. Coming to check out value area high from yesterday. That's not a terrible play. Let's go ahead and look at the 1 minute and 15 minute side by side. Get some multi-time frame charts set up here. What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you being on. Just getting some analysis in, scoping out the markets. See what we have to work with here. Yeah, I mean, I might turn into a 15-minute only chart trader. I never thought I would be there, but it works pretty well. Again, it's like watching paint dry sometimes. It's kind of slow. It's definitely not as fun and entertaining here trading live, but I'm here to trade with you guys and get paid, right? That's my game plan. So let's see what we got here. Again, top 1 futures on Project X. That's what I'm trading here. I got 350K straight to fundeds. If you want to check this out for yourself, link is in the chat. Code RDF. We're into the last week of that code. 50% off. $3.99 for these straight to funded accounts. Wild opportunity, in my humble opinion. You do your own research, make your own decisions. I also just recently dropped a video breaking down the rules for Top 1, a comparison of Top 1, Top Step, Tradeify, all firms that I like myself and trade with. If you guys want to check that out, you're in the right spot. But for right now, this is looking very bullish. There's an immediate play to the upside, right? You could take this bad boy long, looking for a continuation to the upside. We do have some on bookmap, leading back up towards and through those 430s. I could absolutely see this happen. It's happening right now. I'm just going to stay patient. The first 10 minutes, first 12 minutes of the session, it's not my preferred move to just jump right in. I think quick wicks right back down to take you out can be frustrating. So let's see what kind of close we get in the next few minutes here. But initially, I'm looking long on this. We checked out VWAP a bunch of times. We've got some structure to the upside. I think we could potentially start to trade through yesterday's big long wick to the upside and trend higher. Conversely, we still got a gap below us. We traded into it, but we didn't go and close it. And yesterday, we kind of faked everybody out to the upside, chopped around, came all the way down, but not enough to fill the gap, and then kind of drifted higher. So not super easy structure to trade. But here we go, cracking overnight high. Yeah, I think this might want to go. Tempted on this structure. This is not bad structure right off the bat. Let's take a look at news real quick while I'm trying to keep myself patient and not jump in too quickly too long. Here is Forex Factory. This is a financial news site. We have 10 a.m. orange folder news. It's existing home sales. Kind of like yesterday. Not so worried about that. It is, a financial news event, something to be cautious of, but I'm not terribly worried that we get wild volatility. we're trading through news if you're holding on to it. So, that is reason for caution. Some guys say absolutely not. Nothing with orange or red. Orange being medium impact, red being high impact news. But we got through unemployment claims. You saw the big volatility on the 1 minute chart that we had there. Not so worried about this, but something to be cautious of. So we're testing this overnight high level. Yeah, let me jump back out to the 15. Get this higher time frame perspective rolling. We'll get all of last week's volume. Yeah, man, I can see a quick push up on this one. We start to crack this. The 450s, big round psychological number right up here. If we get through this area, I could definitely see a move up here. It's not super clear on direction, but this is a decent pullback down for pre-market and then structure to the upside. So I do like this long. Here's 945. I'm gonna see what happens up here, but I'm eyeballing this to the upside here, guys. It would be quick for me. It would be really not giving the market a lot of time to open up. I have been liking the stay patient move, but I could see this one with like a half risk trade, which I think I'm going to get ready to throw on here. I'm going to get long on this, guys, and I'm going to do exactly what I just said. I'm going to run this as a half risk type deal. I'm putting on about $1,000 max. I have to actually change those risk settings. Putting on about $1,000 max risk per trade in these accounts. If I'm going to really just put size on and run it. For this one, I'm going to throw about $500 risk, 3 micros here. I'm getting long right here on, close of this bar and another bar opening up to the upside. Looking at the 15-minute chart, again, this is a wide stop loss trade, right? We got quite a bit of distance here, 131 ticks, 32 3/4-ish points. But I'm looking at this bullish. I like this sweep down here. Didn't fill the gap, which would have been a lot nicer. But breaking above VWAP, retesting, news pushing to the upside, and now continuing. Now, big risk factor to pay attention to. We have medium impact news, orange folder news coming up here at 10 a.m., right? That can cause a lot of volatility, and we can get our faces ripped off to the downside very, very aggressively, right? And for those reasons, being early in the session and having to hold this through, I don't expect it to play out in 13 minutes here. I'm going to throw about half risk on, right? Not near the $1,000 level. Again, I don't like to say half risk or full risk because I'm dynamic with it. It's always going to be a little bit different. That's just the way that I trade. I'm a little bit more dynamic. I have the confidence to do that. I feel it works out well for me. Probably not for the beginner trader. Maybe the more advanced trader are going to be comfortable doing that. For most guys, as they're getting started out, grabbing onto some consistency, exact same risk per trade every single time, no matter what, is going to be the way to do it with a fixed stop loss and fixed take profit. Probably going to work out best. Going to allow you to have a lot of consistency. But as you get more advanced, maybe you get a little more flexible with it. So I'm long, 3 micros from 54.24.5. Stop right now is at 53.91.5. That would allow a pretty gnarly retest all the way back down to this area. Breaking below this session low by a few points, testing VWAP. A really, really wide stop loss, if I was going to hang on to it for forever, would be in store. But that's about as much as I want to risk on this. If I take this L, I have a very, very comfortable to take another trade. More than happy to take another $500 or $1,000 trade, taking the first stop out for $495. So, that's a reason I like to be a little bit dynamic, right? If I'm going to get involved, I think there's probably a little bit more risk. I like it, and I don't want to miss the opportunity. But at the same time, I recognize some additional risk factors, like getting involved in the market early and having orange folder news. I'm aware of those things. So upside targets on this. Again, I think if we zoom out, which is really what I'm paying attention to, so I'm going to clean up a lot of this stuff. If we zoom out and display last week's volume profile, if this resets here on the 15-minute, we are testing this area of high volume right here. If we don't break out above it right now, which we're not, we can come back down very, very quickly through this area, come and check out the area where my stop is, not just retest VWAP, come all the way back down on this quickly. I'm looking at this to break out to the upside and run towards prior week volume point of control, which would be a very big round psychological number, I think easy to hit. 54.50. If not higher than that, the 54.66s. So this news, I would really want to see us get pushed in that direction. We reject really harshly. I'm going to take a stop out on this. So that's the thought process here. Not running a fixed target. As you guys know, I usually don't. It can get a little bit dicey through news, so I might throw something on there, like a really wide one where I'm not actually expecting it to get hit, but if the market just rips in my direction, I don't have way too much profit in these accounts that have consistency rules. So that's the trade. That's what I'm throwing on. In one quick here, but again, giving myself room to work, right? If I take this stop out, I'm comfortable taking another trade with you guys or later into the afternoon. Obviously, just depends on what sets up. Good morning, guys. What's up, chat? Good morning, Keith. Good morning, Coop. John, Stefan, Jess, Ralph, Kim. What's going on, guys? Good to see you. Appreciate you being on here. Welcome back to the show. I am long 3. Looking at this market to the upside, but, you know, not beautiful direction. Not massively clean. You know, this is kind of dicey down here with this gap not getting filled. But so far, following this structure, right, if I zoom out a lot, which I've been liking to do, really, really pushing up day over day, right? Bulls tried to make a run to past these highs yesterday. Couldn't do it. Cleaned everybody out. Maybe this is all we had to do. Clean everybody out before we come back up and run towards these highs. Obviously, my thesis is not that we need to get here for this trade. It's just a push up back here, which I think even if we're going to sell off, like really aggressively to go close this gap, I think this could be the fake out for everybody getting short, right? I try to make like multiple cases, right? Even if we aren't going to run these highs and turn this into a big bullish day, oftentimes we push in the opposite direction first, take everybody out that's getting short on this out of this consolidation, saying, oh, look, we're going to go fill this gap. We're going to go trade back down to the 5320s, you know, this area of high volume, and we get long on that. So that's the trade setup right here, right now. I was going to take a look at Bookmap with you guys real quick. Just want to reset this. Again, here on the 15-minute chart, I've been liking it, man. It's really wide. It's a lot slower, but it's the exact same approach, right? It's the same stuff that I would be doing on the 1 minute. In calmer conditions, and I think as we slow down into the summer, I'll probably end up zooming back in a little bit, right? That the 15-minute will be very, very slow. It just will not provide the same opportunities. The lower time frames will. But right now, through these tariff talks and geopolitical events, the markets are extremely volatile, and the 1 minute chart can be really fast, really difficult to work with. Now, and that's me saying it on ES, right? So you might trade NQ on the 15-second, and this is like watching paint dry for you. That's all preference, right? It's all going to be preference. No one best. Time frames are fractal. It's all the same stuff. This is the same chart as the 5 minute, right? It just depends if I zoom out. Like I could look at the 5 minute chart zoomed out like this. I could look at the 30-minute chart zoomed in like this and be displaying more information in the 5 minute chart. So, grain of salt, everybody talking about one best time frame or higher time frame or lower time frame. It depends if you're zoomed in or zoomed out as a whole. But 15 minutes been a pretty sweet spot for me. I've liked it side by side, but if I'm going to run really wide stops like this and actually hold on to the trades, I don't like to give myself a heart attack on the 1 minute. But that is my preferred time frame on ES, 1 minute. Aloha, what's up, KP? What's going on? So we're coming up on orange folder news, like we talked about. Just one more time for you guys that are maybe considering something. We have under 7 minutes to orange folder news. It's existing home sales. This isn't a high impact, but it is a medium impact, and we don't know exactly what that's going to look like. Now, is this something that is typically as volatile or market moving as NFP or FOMC or even the unemployment claims we had this morning? No. But we never know if they come in way above or below forecast, and how that's interpreted. So we don't know. But so far, trade's looking good, breaking out to the upside. I'm long, not a whole lot of risk, right? Toning it down on this trade that is early, and then I'm going to hold through news because I think there's a little bit more risk involved, and I'd like to give myself the opportunity to take another trade, right? Whether that's a win or this first one's a win or a loss, I give myself more flexibility now to take a follow-up trade, less than I would with, maybe $1,000 and more worth of risk on. So let's take a look at Bookmap real quick, which is actually helping us out to the upside here. We have quite a few orders right here at the 30. Let's zoom in. At the 38. To the upside. To the downside, we do have some, but only if I really start to zoom out. Thought we had some way down here below. Yep. We got about 260 down here at the 350 level. Again, that would be pretty far moved to the downside. Same stuff that I was targeting yesterday when I got long is up here, 5,500. That's not the target for today, but that has stayed on the book. That's obviously real, at least for now. But closer to price, we got some that's kind of bouncing around this 435 level. Definitely at the 438, about 250 on the book up there. This is the algorithmic stuff that I don't pay attention to. There's ways to take this off. There's ways to clean this up. I like to run it this way. I got comfortable this way, so it doesn't bother me. I just run it very, very close to standard. Past that, the 450s do have some on the book. And again, this is a target, right? Potential target. Big round psychological number. I think we could trade up towards that very, very quickly. Past that, we don't have too much on the book, but I'd be looking at an area of high volume, which I think is very likely to return to. So this is Bookmap, level 2 data. This is order flow, right? That's what we're looking at here. This is your current order book, what is commonly referred to as the DOM, the ladder, 47 other different slang terms. No magic here, just basic stuff. And I talk about this a lot. I use this in a very dumb guy way, right? The way that I do with most of my trading tools. Really just pattern recognition. I'm looking at the same thing over and over and over, recognizing patterns that seem to repeat themselves over a long period of time, and I exploit that to the best of my abilities. Does it happen every day? Does the same stuff play out every day? Absolutely not. Market's very random on the short term. Do I think order flow is necessary? Do I think it's some magic, and if you don't trade with level 2 data that you're not going to be profitable? Absolutely not. There's a ton of people that don't use this at all. I think it's just like any other tool. For me, it's new information. It's info that I wouldn't get if I didn't have level 2 data and a DOM up. You can't see this stuff on a candlestick chart, but it's secondary. And primarily, which is what I have on my main screen, I'm looking at price action and market structure. That's going to be king. Volume, really for areas of interest on my chart, which coincide with market structure and price action. And then some order flow on the side, kind of comes together to create, a nice blend of information that allows me to make educated trading decisions, or what I would call an educated trading decision. Most of my stuff is pretty simple. I think it's going to go up some long, like that's kind of it. I find a way to structure risk. That's most important, right? Do I have a clean way to structure risk? And I will often sit out of the market, whether or not I think something's going to happen, based on a pattern, based on, something that's happened before, because I don't have a way to structure risk, because I think that's important. So we're pushing to the upside here on NES, showing me 170 some odd bucks worth of profit, approaching the $200 level. We're up 11.5 points, 12 points. Now, you got a decision to make, or I have a decision to make, right? I talked to myself about this. Orange folder news coming. This can reverse in the blink of an eye, right? You can manage this a bunch of ways. You can close it out and say, yay, I'm up $200. I'm going to take that money and be on with my day. It's really $600 because this is across 3 accounts. You could go stop loss to break even and say, I'm going to make it risk-free as I run it into news. Or you could do what I'm about to do, which is leave the trade on and not go stop loss to break even or close it out. What I am going to do, just in case we wick really aggressively higher, I'm going to set a fixed take profit up here, right below prior days value area high, which is also a really, really high volume area. I don't know why. I have to look at this again. Probably different time frame, but I got last week's value area high up here. But just this area of high volume up above the 54.50s. Why would I do that? If we wick up there, I'd like to just be out, so I don't want to miss that opportunity. But as a whole, I don't like to run fixed take profits. I like to let the market do what it's going to do. Oftentimes, when we crack in my direction, it's a nice added benefit. Doesn't happen often, but you get a really nice close out of it. But just my style of trading. I'd be cautious up here, and what happens up here, I'm going to watch Bookmap. I am more likely to grab it around the 450s, right around the 450s here, because I'm thinking that we could find some sellers up in that area. But we are through the 38s, picking up steam to the upside. Show you Bookmap real quick, just 60 seconds before news. These are the orders I was looking at on the book, anticipating us to the upside, going to fill those. We filled. We can see the volume. You can see the volume bubble filled. And here we go to the upside right now, trading at the 440s. So yeah, again, this can react pretty harshly to the downside. We can come right back down in. I'm going to leave this risk on. I would allow for a retest in the middle ground of this area of high volume. Don't know that I would survive a really big wick to the downside. I'd probably be out, but that would be pretty violent, right? My stop is almost 50 points away from price right now on ES. It's pretty wide. So I want to see a test of this level. You know, this is my initial target area. If we cracked above it, I'd be out for a little bit more profit, but I want to see what happens on this news. Again, got about 10 seconds to news, guys. I'm going to look to manage this quickly, one way or the other. Let's see what we get. 10 a.m. orange folder news. Liquidity is off the book. Algos have backed off. Now they're back on. Let's see if we get a lot of volatility out of this. Again, recognize and accept your risk, right? If I'm going to hold like this, I know damn well this can come right back down on me in the blink of an eye. Very aggressively to the downside, all the way through that $495 stop loss. I'm comfortable with that, right? I say, okay, I know that's a possibility. Anything can happen. I've watched that stuff happen before. So once you get past that, again, this is kind of mindset, you can just trade objectively. You can say, okay, what's going on in the book? Like right now, we have quite a few orders stacking up at 450, right? It was not there before. Now we have quite a few orders stacking up at 450, 172, right? So here's how I use Bookmap to my advantage to manage trades. 54.50, right? We did not have that on the book before. Oh, we had some up here. Becoming more prominent, 173 orders. What do we have above? We got some algorithmic crap above, but this is a level that I think maybe we tag, find these sellers, and reject harshly, right? We've been knifing to the upside all morning. Do I think it's likely to continue without a pullback? No. So where's a good spot to take profit? Big round psychological number, prior week's volume point of control, area of high liquidity on Bookmap. That's what I'm looking at right now, okay? So trying to map out my trades with you guys and my trade management. But show me some profit already. Made it about 21 points, 21 and a quarter points. No, 20 points, let's call it, in profit. Not amazing relative to my risk, right? But I run a wide stop loss. Run a really wide stop loss down here. Like to get it out of the way and not end up with a massively high risk to reward when I do take L's, but generate a pretty solid win rate. Albeit this is a lower risk trade as far as my dollar amount relative to what I'm usually risking. So let's see if we can get some continuation up, crack the 450s, maybe look to grab some profit there. It'd be pretty decent out of ES here over, yeah, about, let me get right on it, 24.50 to 450 would be 25.5 points, 100 ticks. Can't complain about that. Can't complain. What's up, Ryan? Yeah, Ryan's in and out. Very nice, man. Ryan, 15 seconds before existing home sales. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see, man. Let's see if we want to come out of this. Again, this is something I want to hang on to. Here's what my management style would look like. We crack a little bit higher on this before we pull back. I'm going to grab it. Okay? That's my game plan. We pull back on this now. I'm going to let it come all the way down on me. Risk the stop out. Risk us trading through. Just pulling up, sweeping these highs, and then having to trade all the way through. If I do hang on to it for a long period of time and we don't stop me out, like we pull something like this, do one of these, I'm probably going to, and we come all the way back up, I'm probably going to hang on to it longer. I'd probably at that point hang on to it for a wider push to the upside, right? Again, just the thesis of the trade, right? Kind of how this thing is moving, what market structure and price action is showing me. We come all the way back down, reload down here, and then continue back up to the highs on whatever this pullback may look like. I like it even more to the upside. Right now, I wouldn't mind grabbing something. This is just not enough for me to take with this amount of risk. And I don't have a reason to close out before this level yet. But I would grab it there because I think a pullback's necessary, and I don't have to sit all the way through that, even if I am still bullish on it. So that's kind of the thought process here. But appreciate you guys hopping on, man. Been running lives every damn day here on YouTube, 100% free. It's awesome. Been giving out accounts, giving out cash. We gave out a 50K straight to funded account yesterday. Can't remember if it's $200 or $300 for those accounts. But that was awesome. Be doing a whole lot more of that. You got to be here on the streams. You got to fill out the form when it drops. Random time, random days. Don't ask me. I'm not going to tell you. Unless I feel like telling you, and it ain't going to be when you ask me. So it'll be, helping guys out maybe that are sitting here on the live that don't get a giveaway, or maybe guys from Discord or something like that, kind of just give you the indication of the day that it's going to be on. But they're, designed for everybody that's here, guys and girls. I always say guys, so sorry, ladies. But the guys and girls that are on here hanging out with me on the stream, supporting the stream, I'll give back to you to the best of my abilities. Ryan, negative red news typically means sell pressure for existing home sales. Let's see, brother. Let's hope for your continuation to TP. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. We will see. You know how volatile NQ can be. Like you said, accept the risk and let it play out. Yeah, 100%. 100%, right? Man, I'll tell you, like, the amount of times I thought I was accepting risk and not accepting it, and I knew that after the fact when the trade did something that I was hoping didn't happen or I really didn't want to happen, and then I reacted really poorly afterwards. Countless, right? And a big part of trading is getting your mindset right, developing that confidence, developing that mindset to be able to manage your positions correctly, to trade well, to trade objectively for your system, your approach, whatever that means. Do you need an edge in the market? Yes, you do. You need consistency. You need risk management. But what separates, and this is, the Mark Douglas, Tom Hogard, Jared Tendler, Steve Ward, Dr. David Paul, rest in peace, and Mark Douglas, rest in peace. This is the mindset from these guys, right? And what I hold to be true. What separates the consistent winners, the really good traders, from everybody else is not that they're smarter, that they have a bigger edge in the market than everybody else, that they have better tools and more information. It's the way they think about trading. It's how they can execute their edge. It's their confidence, their absurdly arrogant confidence that they are going to win in the long term, that they can execute with very little errors, very little human and emotional based errors over a long period of time to let their edge play out. Is a part of it experience? Absolutely. Your edge is going to get better. You're going to get better, right? Just like any other sport or activity. If you wanted to play soccer or football, basketball, baseball, would you be good at the first year of playing? No, you would suck. You would strike out all the time. You would never be able to hit a shot. You would miss the ball. You would be terrible, right? As the years go on, you develop more experience, even though it's a very simple activity that you're doing. When you look from the outside, we could all learn the rules of a simple game. Why are some guys, professional level and everybody else is, in playing it for fun as a hobby? It's time, right? It's experience, it's training, it's dedicating a lot of time to it, taking it seriously. But trading, we are faced with something very, very unique. And there's a lot of mindset in that as well. But we're faced with something very unique, which is the psychology of financial risk and financial risk management. And what separates the best from everybody else and just the guys that are making money from everybody who's losing money is, in my humble opinion, is that mindset. It's the way that they think about trading that allows them to make the right decisions that are so difficult to make as humans. If it was as simple as a tool or a strategy or being able to pay your way in, everybody who's big money and wildly successful would be making money trading, and they don't. Some of the smartest, most successful people that I know personally have lost the most amount of money trading. That's just observation. So if you want to read some books on that stuff, Trade in the Zone by Mark Douglas, Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard, all the most popular stuff. You want to learn about bucket shops, which I think is pretty cool. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. I really don't know how to say that word correctly. Reminiscences of a Stock Operator by Edward. It's about Jesse Livermore, but look that one up. Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tendler. It's a great one. You can read Market Wizards. It's all on mindset. None of these are about strategy or approach. That's what moved the needle for me. That's what really moved the needle for me. Not finding some magic tool, that everybody would use. Not out there, my friends. At least I don't believe it is. If you find it, please feel free to hit me up. I can stop wasting so much time working on myself and just let something run it for me. What's going on, chat? Good week for me? Not really, man. Yesterday was some L's. It was no trade Monday. Winning trade on Tuesday. Had a winning streak going all the way through last week. Yesterday was decent size L's, decent size red day. Largest that I've had in this account. In these accounts, not major, still in profit, but part of the game, right? I won back-to-back green days for a long period. Overall, good week? Yeah, like absolutely, man. No losing streak, so I don't want to sound ungrateful. Got a trade running. It's a half risk trade that I put on. Now, hindsight capital would be nice if this was $700 instead of $330. But, that's part of making that decision. But nothing spectacular after taking an L yesterday. Just standard, man. But I like to try to look at things. It's hard to do, but I like to try to look at things in a, month by month, right? A day or a week of trading, especially if I'm not going to put on a high volume, not going to tell me much, right? Not going to tell you guys much about me and my trading. So over the course of month or months, that's really a way to start to look at your P&L and understand how your trades are playing out. But yeah, not bad, man. Not bad. Come on, another 45-point move. Up, left, I believe. Yeah, man. Okay, let's see it, Ryan. Let's see it. I'm hanging on to it, right? Approach that 54.50. I know I'm talking psychology here, and Kim, I see a message from you. I'm talking psychology, but market-wise, we did not go and fill those orders. We got really close. It's not like they filled and acted as resistance. They are still on the book. I'm hanging on to this one, guys, right? Wider stop loss, wider take profit. I'm going to hang on to this one. I think this could be a nice bullish day. I don't know that I'm going to close it at 450. I'm watching this play out on Bookmap. I'd love to see some up above here. There's really not a lot on the book up above here, so that could cause a drift back to the next closest area of high volume. But again, where is this level coming from? I could get rid of this now, actually, at this point. Just in case we wicked higher, I'm going to leave it. But, where are these levels coming from? This area up here, right? Below these lows, below these highs, not lows. Area of high volume that was traded, a lot of transactions. You can see it from the volume profile. These areas love to be, tested again. My stop is wide, right? Unless we turn this into a really bearish day and come all the way back down, which I think we would be trading through the lows to go fill this gap. This looks good to come and check this out. Even if we are going to reverse, this looks like a good spot to come up and grab it. Now, big round psychological number. Cautious there. We got 2 under on the book. I'm probably going to make the decision to hold through it and really just let this bad boy ride. I'm in it now. Again, half risk. It comes back down on me. I'm dead wrong on this trade, and we were in for a much different movement. But I'm likely going to hang on to this one through the 50s for another 10 to 15 point move to the upside. This is a nice bullish movement. Market is strong, showing a lot of strength. It's not insane, and we do have sellers up here for sure that have stepped in, but not a lot would be telling me to get short right now. Got to come through this 54.50s though. We reject here and start to push back down. Not going to look nearly as nice. We crack this to the upside with another 15-minute candle. Maybe we sweep below and then crack to the upside. I think that's going to look really nice for continuation. But obviously, seller stepped right in here, right after a nice bullish move. Really didn't find any resistance through this news. We traded right up here in MES to the 449 even. Did not came within 1 point of that 450. Did not want to go grab it. We got orders up there, so I'd be surprised if we didn't go tag it. But anything can happen. ACH. I'm gonna get rid of that. I just don't like seeing it take profit on my screen. Again, that was through news, right? If we crack to the upside, let me just grab it and get out. But I would be looking for this to move to the upside towards these 65s. But again, you might say, Zach, that's a beautiful trade. You're done. Call it a day. 24 plus points to the upside from an entry. Cool, man. Do your thing. Could have managed this one even tighter. Like, what would have been even tighter on this risk? Stop loss could be right here, another 25 points higher, right below the 15-minute bar that I entered on, which is also session low, right? Not to just talk about 15-minute bars, but that's what we're watching here. But anyway, gonna let this one run. Stress-free, right? Let it come back down on me, guys. It's cool. It's cool. Risk is managed, right? Stop loss is in place. One trade isn't going to mean anything. Just chill out. Everybody, if I could leave you with one thing, you don't know what's going to happen next in the market. You don't need to make money. It's Mark Douglas. It's okay. You're going to take L's. You're going to have red days. Plenty of them. Tons of them. You're going to have nice trades that turn into losers if you don't move stop loss to break even like I'm not. If you don't take quick profits, which I do oftentimes. But recognize that. It's all part of the game. It's all part of trading. So, take care. Playing it safe. Absolutely. Absolutely. John, really admire your composure while in a trade. Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate that, man. And I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I try not to get too jacked up on a win or too disappointed on a loss. I'm repeating myself, but I think it's funny sometimes, and sometimes like how quickly the market can move and either move in your favor or move against you. So it is fun, and I'm enthusiastic about the market. But if you trade for long enough and you really reflect on what we're doing here, the game that we're playing, of probabilities, then you find it becomes kind of silly to react in such a crazy way on a win or a loss, right? Because the market's going to do whatever it's going to do. We don't know with really strong degree of certainty what's going to happen next. We can just structure our risk and let it play out. So, results over a month, over a week, all of that stuff. One trade, one trading day, it's as long as you're structuring your risk, it's not going to mean too much, right? It's really not going to be make or break. And if it is make or break for you, you have too much risk on. That's just the end of the story. If you're putting it all on one trade, it's not a good sustainable way to trade. So I appreciate you saying that. But yeah, man, that's the deal. Again, usually it comes from two places. Either you trade for long enough and the market shows you why you should be this way, which is halfway what happened to me, and or you reflect, you study, you read, you learn about the way to think about the market, and you understand it that way. Kim said, I struggle with letting my trades play out. I can accept risk until I see profit, and my risk acceptance goes right out the window. Yeah. And it's a tough thing. It's a tough thing that will seriously hinder your performance. You have to look at your data, and that's what I would encourage you to do. Review. Every time you're in a trade and you close out and you say, I don't want to let this come back on me, what happens? Do more often than not, by a small margin, more than half of the time, it continues to move in your direction. That tells you you have poor trade management, or not poor trade management, but an area to improve on, right? You should be holding those trades longer. And that's the fear instead of hope, and hope instead of fear. When we're in a winning trade, we should be hopeful that it continues and happy that the market is doing what we're expecting it to do. But instead, we're fearful. We're scared that it's going to take away that profit, and we decide to close out early. And the opposite happens when we're in a losing trade. This is the basic stuff. We're oftentimes hopeful. We don't close it out. We hold it all the way to the stop loss. We move the stop loss. We add in because we just keep hoping that it's going to move in our direction, when instead we should be fearful. We should be quicker to close, quicker to let that stop loss hit the way that it was initially, not move it, not add into it to a losing trade, right? It's human emotion, and it's us being hardwired the wrong way. We are hardwired almost exactly the opposite way that we need to be to trade. And here's a good demonstration of that, right? Most traders' P&L when they start out are a nice 45-degree angle down until the account's dead, right? We're playing a 50-50 game. When you take out commissions, spreads, fees, swaps if you're trading, Forex, all of these different things. If you take all of that out, really, and think about it, in 100% random market conditions with no edge, entering randomly with a 1-to-1, you should be break even. You should have a choppy equity curve all over the place, but you should end up not making or losing money. How in the world do traders lose money so consistently? Well, they're doing the exact opposite of what they need to do. They're continuing to trade when they're losing. They're putting more risk on when they're losing. They are moving their stop loss. They're adding into losers. If you flip that on its head, they'd be making money. Not consistently, because obviously you don't have that type of consistency, but that's the thought process. That's the thought process. And if you if you start to reflect on that and think about that, it becomes, doesn't make it easy, but it becomes simpler to understand. It really becomes simpler to understand. And you go, man, I've got to make a change, right? And you put processes in place. How do you do that, right? So that's the abstract. Maybe it's setting risk parameters. Go to the risk settings here in Project X. There we go, cracking the 450s. I'm hanging on to this one, guys. I'm hanging on to this one. I'm looking for prior day value area high up near the 460s. This is a dicey play. 450s, and I'm going to acknowledge it right now with you guys. So talking about the market. 450s here, big round psychological number. We just came through liquidity. We struggled to get up to this level, right? We are now coming really outside of an area of volume. We are likely to either continue quickly or find resistance very quickly and this come back on me. I'm going to allow this one to run to about the 60s, 65s if we get it, or all the way back on me, and then potentially up further. That's my play right here. So no closeout at the 450s. Was looking at that maybe around news. If we were just going to continue quickly, we found resistance there. We're breaking through. Price action market structure continuing to the upside. I'm hanging on to this one for better or for worse. But again, I acknowledge, right? Look at the other side of your trade. So right here, I'm looking up at the 60s. We're not bad for liquidity, but there's not a lot. I'm going to hang on to this one. We're pushing pretty quick, so I don't see myself being in this for a whole lot longer. Hanging on to it for right now. Would like to see us get through this 60 level. Let's go ahead and look at a take profit right below it, just in case we quickly wick. Looking at bookmap over here on the right-hand side, 57.5. We got some flashing on and off. 60s could be it. Yeah, 60s could be it, but this could turn into a really big bullish day. Right back up to the 5500s, right? A lot of buyers out of the gate. Really did not find resistance anywhere here. We got through the 450s. We're holding above. I'd like to see this thing. Continue to play out to the upside, but I'm not going to hold on to it all day. Although I am holding on to it now. But I'll be looking at right below the 460 level. I got to take profit at 54, 59 and 3/4. As you guys know, I don't run fixed take profits, as you saw this entire time. But just in case we really quickly wick up here and then crack down, one thing I've been trying to get better at, and this is my own personal trade management, right? I'm looking to get better at different things. Oftentimes, as we approach a level, I know I want to take profits somewhere, and I don't set a limit order. I just wait to hit flat and all. That's kind of a stupid way to do it, because it'll wick, hit my level, and I'm too slow because I'm hanging out talking to you guys here on YouTube. I don't get out of the trade in time, and I get a way worse fill. So as we approach a level, I like to set a take profit. But again, it still doesn't mean that, like, that's a level that I need hit before I close out of the trade, right? So here we go. We're going to try it. Yeah, we got liquidity building at 460. That could be dicey up there. Getting moved down a little bit. Ooh, got really close to that level. So I threw my take profit just below it by a tick. We'll see how this one plays. Trading the 58. Oh, that was it. That was it. Traded 49 3/4 on ES. Am I gonna take profit hit? Finding resistance there, man. This could be dicey. Watching bookmap, we got it stacking up at 460. This could be a little dicey. I think we're gonna snag it, but just watching bookmap, guys. 465s, we got some. 450, we got some. Ooh, this could be a dicey one. I think we actually traded it out on ES, but we just didn't do it on MES, because I look at an ES. There we go. Take profit hit. Yeah, we actually traded, and there's sometimes a very small price discrepancy. There we go. Trading the 60s, the 60.5. Nice. This looks strong, guys. This thing might run. But we actually traded out like within one tick. But take profit hit. Yay! Hooray! Decent trade, right? We can kind of review that one. Positive risk to reward, just over a 1. $526. that's a full nice trade for me. Again, I talked about half risk. I saw John say, what's your average, what's your max size? About 1,000. And you could see on a day like today how that worked against me, right? I made the conscious decision as I was putting this trade on. If you heard me talk about it, I was getting involved quickly. I was getting involved right off the open. And we had orange folder news at 10 a.m., medium impact news. I put on maybe slightly less than I would on a trade like yesterday where I had, I think, like $800 or 800 some odd dollars worth of risk on. Where the $1,000, if I'm going to give myself max 2 trades a day, the $1,000 max per trade, at least for right now, before I've scaled these up a lot, is about my max risk. I'm dynamic, and I said today, I'll size down a little bit. I'm getting involved early, and we got news that I'm probably going to hold through, which I did. I wanted to give myself definitely at least another trade here with you guys or into the afternoon. And if I was stopped out, that would have worked positively, but you could see how being dynamic can also work against you, right? With full risk, with $1,000 or $1,100 or something like that, this is a larger trade, right? This is $1,100, $1,200 trade. So important to note, right? Always the good and the bad. So trade management, good. Execution, good. Risk management, I'm doing the same thing every day. If I'm going to get myself involved at 9:45, I'm cautious. I do not have the data that supports it as well as waiting. But you can see, again, how that works maybe for and against you on different days. So that's the note. For John, so for the question, I don't have a max size on contracts. I don't care about the contract size. I care about the risk per trade. And why is that? Volatility is different every day. Fixed position sizing, to me, it just does not make sense. I don't think you need to do that. We have flexibility here in micros. Set your enter with your fixed stop loss and decide what you want that number to be, and then position size accordingly. That's how we adjust for volatility. I think you see most traders that trade well do that. If you say, I'm going to trade with 1 mini every day, on Monday, you might have volatility that's 3 times the volatility from Friday. And you are putting on way more risk relative to where your stop loss has to go one day over another. So no fixed contract size for me. But what I recommend, and not what I recommend, but what makes sense is if you're going to manage risk, what is your risk per trade, right? Where does your stop loss have to go? What is your risk for that trade? And you want to be somewhat consistent with that, or most people do. Again, I consider myself a little more advanced. I like to think I know what I'm doing. I'm a little bit more dynamic. Why? My results show that I can be, and that it helps me to be a little bit dynamic. For most guys, fixed risk per trade, fixed number of trades per day, and definitely fixed risk per day. Total daily loss limit, no reason not to set that here in Project X. Yeah, John, got it. Makes sense. To be clear, like the cornerstone of risk management, of a risk management plan, would be your risk per day. How much do you want to stand to lose per day, maximum? From there, how many trades do you take on average? What does your risk per trade have to be? Those limits should be set for everybody and not exceeded. They really should not, until you get way more advanced. And then even then, you should definitely have a max loss per day. You really should. If you don't set it, you need to have it in mind and have the discipline to follow it. If you don't, your max loss is the entire account or the daily loss limit or whatever the other limit is. Because eventually, if you don't respect any limit ahead of that, you're going to hit it. So those are the important things. Good morning. What's up? What's up? Paris, what's up, man? What's happening? Take profit. Trades by Sammy. Listen, man, I appreciate you hopping in, but I take profit based on my system and approach. But I appreciate the input on suggesting that I should take profit. Why? Why should I have taken profit there? Provide some thought behind it, and it can be helpful, right? But for the most part, I think it's silly when other guys comment on other guys trading, unless it's in a fun way. Like Wolf always hops on here, who's not today, and tells everybody that I'm giving him a heart attack or I'm doing something stupid in a dumb trolly kind of way. Nice trade. Thank you. Yeah, right. Yeah. Like I said, guys, and you'll see me take L's, right? Am I super hyped up and like, oh man, this is what we do, best trading. We got it done. One and done. $526 across 3. We made $1,600, $1,575. No, man. It's the market. It's going to be random on the short term. We're going to let it play out. And if you could just stay cool during your wins, stay cool during your losses, you know, you can stack up small base hits or whatever your trading is and get to a payout. You know, that's the thought process. Andre's long, very nice, man. Very nice. What other time of day would you trade if you didn't take any trades at NY Open? Yeah, KP, for me, I don't mind into the afternoon. First off, there's no one best. You can trade whatever you want. Asia, London. I used to play with some overnight stuff, but these days, if I don't take a trade near the open, it's just open season for me through the rest of the day based on price action and market structure, right? I find obviously we have volatility. Look at this move continuing, man. Trading at the 68s, very nice. You know, hindsight capital, you could let it run. You know, let it run up to this area. And again, why was my take profit up here, guys? Boom, this area of high volume, past prior day value area high, coming up to this really, really high point of volume from last week and this week. Really, really simple. But yeah, anytime through NYSE session, I'm okay with. I like to get my trades on in the morning, but if I don't get something or I take a loss, and I just kind of wait for the day to continue to develop and take another trade. I have not been trading overnight, pre-market. Just hasn't been something that I've been spending time doing. Any content that you recommend that explains stop loss in depth? Yeah, I don't know specifically. Probably hang out here with me and I'll explain it enough times and you'll figure it out. But that's a really beginner style deal. If I was going to recommend a channel, if you were like a complete beginner, and I'm not affiliated or associated, it would be like the trading channel. It's a Forex based channel. I think the guy's name's Steven, and he puts out a ton of like completely beginner stuff, like, you know, what a candlestick is, and, you know, what a wick is versus a body and that type of stuff. I'd probably look at some of those videos. Going to get myself a Top 1 account. Send it, AD. Thank you. Absolutely. And if you guys are going to check out Top 1 Futures, which I'm trading on right here, Project X, the straight to funded prop firm, some of the best opportunities in the market. There's the link in the chat. Code RDF. 50% off. Oh, I got it loaded up. Let's look at it. 50% off puts it at these prices. $399 for the 150K. $6,000 of max loss. Again, I can't be unbiased. I stand to make money from that code, from that link. Do your own research. Make your own decisions. I think it's a solid opportunity. That's my humble, biased opinion. Really, really solid trading conditions. Badass platform. Clear path to live. Faces behind the brand, guys that have been coming from a Forex prop firm, Top 1 trader that's been in business for years, millions of dollars of payouts, listed on Prop Firm Match. You got reviews on Trustpilot from them. You can see what's been going on just since launch over the last couple weeks. Tons of people getting paid out, hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single day paid out. You know, fast payouts, all that fun stuff. But again, do your own research, make your own decision. This is the site. You want to check it out. Link is in the chat. Code RDF gets you the best deal available right now. Man, continuing to push the high. Not taking profit. That would have been the key. We are about, yeah, another almost 50 ticks, 11 or so, 12 or so points in profit. Let's see. I'd be surprised if we didn't find some resistance up here. Again, which is why I took take profit, but this could turn into a gnarly bullish push, right? This could really be a day where we try to break and run. I think that would be a hell of an extension. You can see how far off of VWAP we are, how far off of the open we are already, but we are coming back up towards yesterday's high. We challenged this level again after a pullback sweep down below all of the lows of the session. That could be like really strong move to the upside, blasting out of all of these levels of high volume down here, and potentially a serious move to the upside. So I think that could be in store for Thursday into Friday. Gun to my head, I'm not trading for that. Obviously, I'm out of my long right now. I think we find some resistance somewhere in here. We pull back, we chop a little bit, then maybe we continue. But we approach this 5,500 level again. I think we're breaking. I don't think we test it 47,000 times and then sell off. The more a level is tested, the less it is respected. That's the stupid slang term for it, which doesn't always hold true, but it's not a bad one. Second trade on this, I really don't have a setup. Held along for a knife all the way up, took profit at a level that I was comfortable with, held all the way through. You guys in the chat telling me to take profit. Worked out nicely, could have held a little bit longer. Again, thesis of the trade is not that we blast off from the top from way down here when I got long. It's that we come up to this next area of high volume, check out a key level, and I take profit there. So we'll see what happens from here, but so far looking really strong, man. Really, really strong. I wouldn't be looking short on this. We continue to get levels above bookmap. We have orders at 75, at 80, at 90. Yeah, this might go. I think this... Sorry, let me back up. Now that I'm looking at bookmap a little bit closer, I think this has potential to continue. We have traded through every level on bookmap that's came up above with some ease. We don't have a massively high cumulative volume delta. We definitely have sellers that are transacting here, but we are coming through these orders. Prices continuing to the upside, and there are more and more orders to the upside. If there was nothing above price, and we started to see a lot of buy orders stack up below, buyers that wanted to get involved down below, we may want to trade towards that. But this could be a serious continuation and a knife to the upside. There's orders all the way up to 5,500. So this is going to be interesting to watch for sure. All right, good morning, guys. How you doing with the new account? Yeah, you waited on the new account. Awesome. Haven't touched it yet. Outside City for work. Nice, man. Yeah. Keep us updated, man. Keep us updated. Happy you got the win on that one. There'll be plenty more of you guys that'll be here with a funded account from the live streams if you hang out. If you didn't know, Paris got the 50K straight to funded account worth $300 yesterday. I'm happy to support that way. Happy that top one supports me so I can support you guys. Nice mutually beneficial relationship, right? At least that's the way I think of it. So long as I'm transparent that I stand to make money. And I tell you guys, do your own research, make your own decisions, do what's best for you. ET Hawaii. Nice. Yeah, man. Thanks for all the coaching. Yeah, guys. Again, if you don't know me, if you're new here, I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. First off, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Make sure you read disclaimer down below. But important, I don't claim to be the best trader in the world. I don't claim to have all the answers, to have the magic strategy, to have all the big payouts. I don't have all the big payouts. I'm not on the leaderboards. None of that stuff, man. I'll show you what real trading looks like for me. You'll watch me do well. You'll watch me do poorly, make mistakes, run up accounts to payouts, right? Take multiple payouts a month and watch me lose accounts, right? That's what I'll show you guys for free. You could decide for yourself, because I'm here almost every day trading, if you want to listen to me or not. If you want to say that guy sucks and I want to hang out and take his accounts on the giveaways and fade him, that's cool too. But I think that's the beauty of trading live and just being a normal person on YouTube, for whatever that's worth. And, being transparent about where I do stand to make money. I have worked with plenty of traders one-on-one in coaching programs. It's not something that I'm really pushing at all or talking about or marketing or even looking to accept new people right now. I'm actually not, because I really enjoy doing this the way that I'm doing it. I also run a free Discord, 100% free trading Discord, not a VIP feeder program where I tell you to give me your money or anything. Awesome community, ton of guys from you in here and girls in the community. It's awesome, almost 2,000 members. Happy to do it. And again, important to note the transparency along with all of that. I'm partnered, affiliated, stand to make money from, whatever you want to call it, a bunch of different companies. Top One Futures, which I'm trading here, that code, that link in my bio. Bookmap, which I show you guys. Trade Syncer, all of them are listed. I stand to make money from that stuff. So can't be unbiased if I stand to make money from a company, but you can watch me in the way that I speak and talk and make a decision if you think I'm just out for a money grab. I could tell you if I would do stuff a whole lot differently. I would just show you, Rolexes and Lambos, and I would hide all of the losses, and I would just show you all the wins. And I wouldn't tell you that I'm affiliated with anybody. And I wouldn't affiliate with any of these guys. I'd affiliate with the terrible ones where I'd make the most money, and you wouldn't make probably stand a chance to make money. Probably Forex prop firms. I'd open up my own brokerage and just really sign my soul to the devil and be a horrible person. But I don't do that. Or I would just probably just gamble. I would be on like get a stake deal or something and just be like promote gambling. All that stuff's more lucrative than doing what I do here. So, but you know, you decide that for yourself. Anyway, watching this market move, still showing strength, continuing to trade out, liquidity to the upside, no real pullback here on the 15-minute chart. If we look at the 1 minute, for example, a straight up drift higher. I'm glad I got in early because this did not provide another opportunity to get in really at all. Maybe like right over here. But this is just a straight push higher off the open, not even really pulling back from pre-market. So this could be tough to trade. These trending markets, especially when it's just a straight push off with no pullback, they can be really tough to trade. I'm glad I found my way in, albeit with low risk, right? Didn't get to capitalize on as much as I would have liked, but can't complain about making 526, 53. Can't complain about making $1,580 hanging out with you guys, clicking some buttons like an idiot on YouTube. Can't complain, right? I like to be humble about that stuff as well, right? There's a lot of guys that work a lot harder in this world for a lot less money, man. That's the truth. So hanging out with you guys, I want to see if this continues or if we start to get a gnarly pullback. The only real thing that I see on this type of structure that would be an opportunity for a second trade for me would be some really harsh rejection up here and a pulling back down on some force with some order flow to support it, where we start to continue back down towards this area of high volume. We want to come back down in and retest VWAP. I could see a short, even though we have such a strong bullish day. Conversely, and it wouldn't be on the first pullback, right? I wouldn't just start shorting off the top. Conversely, if we did form a quick wick down, some kind of a bearish move, and then an immediate buy back up where buyers say, we cleaned everybody out that got long up here, and now we're going to continue, I could see a move to run this through the 5500s. From up here, I think shorting, you're picking a top. Unless you have a level here that tells you should get short. I think you're just straight up picking a top, or I would be. And long up here, I don't know where you place a stop loss. I don't know where you would place a stop loss outside of where I have my stop loss all the way down below session lows. So for those reasons, talking about, mapping out my trades a lot better into the afternoon, could see a long like that. We get a really aggressive pullback and push up. Later on, that doesn't happen. We find some resistance up here. Maybe we trade the 5,500 and reject, and we see some selling, structure to the downside. I could look to try to get into that, right? But am I going to get into the first sell-off right here? No. And that's might all be that's is going to happen, but you don't get that unless you're trying to pick a top. Mine would be on some kind of structure where we start to turn to the downside, looking for a reversion back to average price, volume weighted average price for the session, for the day, all the way back down to this area of high volume. But I don't know that I get one. This is a lot of strength, But that's what I'll be looking at into the afternoon. I talked a lot about mapping out second trades, so you guys know what I'm looking at. We continue to push. I'm not getting long. We sell off directly back in. I would have to be short now. We start to form structure to the downside. I could see a short play back down to one of these areas of high volume down here, somewhere maybe down into the 420s. 430s, 420s. Yeah, pretty sweet down here. Back down to overnight high. Conversely, we sell off really aggressively and then get bought right back up. We kind of see, a wick down below and then immediate buying pressure. It would give me a new invalidation point. It would give me a way to structure risk, enter on the way back up, stop loss below for a continuation through the 5500s and maybe higher. Really big bullish day. So it's going to go up or down. I would need it to do it in a specific way, right? I'm not going to get in on a knife up or down. I would get in to the upside if we pulled back aggressively and then got bought right back up. Or if we started to really break structure and then form some nice repetitive market structure to the downside. That would also give me a way to structure risk. That's the thought process into the afternoon. Appreciate you guys. Wasn't going to trade today, but this PA is so tempting. Yeah, listen, stick to your guns. Stick to your plan, right? Stick to your plan. Ooh, there's some volatility. There's some sellers stepping back in. Question about the 150K account. Do I have to profit minimum 3K daily for instant payout? No. So first, KP, go to the main site through that link if you want to click my link, which I stand to make money from, and then go to the top and go to the frequently asked questions page. The 3K is the minimum on the 150K that you can take as a payout. So you at least need to have 3K in profit before you can take a payout. You don't have to do that daily. You have to follow a 20% consistency rule, which means no single day of profit in your account can be larger than 20% of the total profit. What's the simple math on that? If you want to take out a certain amount of money, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, divide that number by 5. You can't go over that amount. If you say, what's my consistency based on the amount of money that I just put up, times whatever profit you just made by 5. That would be your minimum amount to meet the consistency rule. So I would make sure you read all of the frequently asked questions. I got videos on it as well. You can check out the videos on YouTube talking about the rules, talking about the comparisons. I dig into some of that. I got more coming out. But that's the rules that you really have to pay attention to. The max loss, the daily loss, the consistency rule, and what you need to do to trade towards a payout. So, hope that helps. Yeah, Kim, you got it right. Just need 3K to take a payout. Paris. Yeah, I mostly trade ES, man. Mostly trade ES. I've bounced back and forth between NQ and YM. I used to trade US 30 and NAS 100 in the CFD market with CFD, terrible CFD and Forex prop firms. Coming over, I had the most experience with those, honestly, and less experience on ES. But I really found NQ to be super volatile, like really volatile. Maybe it was just changing as the time I was really focusing on it more. And I came over to ES. I really enjoy trading ES, the S&P. I just find it slower, respects levels a little bit more cleanly. It takes some adjustment. It doesn't move exactly the same, so it does take some adjustment, but it's very correlated. But it's preference. It's just preference. Also, at the same time, I forget this. When I started trading, here was the real reason. When I started trading NQ, I was trading with Top Step primarily, and Top Step didn't allow you to trade minis and micros in the same one-to-one format. So you were only allowed to trade like up to, I forget in the funded account, what is it, like 2 or 3 before you're able to scale. So it was like 2 minis max or 2 micros max. And I wanted to be able to trade more than the micro amount, but not the one full mini amount. So I was able to trade the minis on ES when the market was moving a whole lot slower. And that was my main reason to come over to ES. It was a risk management perspective and what we were allowed to do and not do in prop firms. But that's since changed. I'm talking about a year ago, about a year ago. But so that was the real reason, actually. But along with that, a lot slower. I found a lot of comfort on it. I still do like NQ. I can't keep myself away from testing new things, although I haven't been messing with it in a while. Was testing some serious, really aggressive scalping, negative risk to reward scalping on NQ. Along with YM. I really do like the way YM moves. Again, I had a lot of experience, I had a decent amount of experience trading it as US 30. Very mean reverting. I find that one to be different, the most different than the other two. Not really correlated. It lives in its own world and moves differently. But really, really simple setups on YM. And if you get a Top 1 Futures account, I'm in their academy. I talk about a trade that you can go and look at and backtest a movement on YM. That's very, very, very simple near the open that I used to trade a lot, used to capitalize on a lot. But YM is pretty cool. I find it to be a lot more mean reverting. It trends, but it moves all over the place, which can be difficult to work with. But I traded it very counter, looking for simple trades off of clean levels back to VWAP, back to areas of high volume. But again, preference. All preference, right? Some guys are going to trade gold. Some guys are going to trade, oil, whatever you want to do. Forex pairs, I do think whatever you decide on, become the specialist. Pick something and, spend time on it, right? Get to know it well, intimately, as funny as of a word that is. And you become really good at it, right? You get to know it very well. You watch it day in and day out. I think that's solid to do. I think a trader that watches 5 pairs as opposed to the same trader that watches 1 pair won't be as good as watching 1 pair or instrument. Not trading Forex here. 1 instrument. But that's up to the individual trader. Some guys trade multiple different things. They bounce around different opportunities. I found coming into the futures market, low time frames, intraday on US indices, just hyper focusing on one single thing day in and day out. And you can go back through my lives. If I am trading something else, I'm usually like stuck on that for a while. Like I'm on NQ for a long period of time or a decent period of time, or YM. There was a period of time where I was trying to look at trading YM off the open and then coming over to ES or NQ. But I just think focusing on one thing is best. If you don't have the opportunity, you don't have the opportunity. You build your experience, you learn on that one, and you get such a good feel for how it's moving. Because they're all slightly different. So guys, watching this market, find some sellers up here, but trying to move higher. Could have an opportunity for a long up here if you're looking for it. For example, if this 15-minute bar does continue back up around the highs, this could be a long setup. Breaking and retesting prior day value area high. Maybe that is this formation right here, and this is all we're going to get. I could absolutely see that for a long. If we come back up towards these highs, nothing wrong with trying that. I don't know that I would take that so aggressively. Probably not in these accounts. Maybe in a Top Step XFA. But I'd be waiting to see what happens. We start to sell off, continuing down. A short could be in store. We crack right back up towards these highs. This would be the first nice pullback with a way to structure risk to the upside. So on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I appreciate you being on the stream. If you're new, subscribe for next time. We got giveaways coming out every week. Gave away cash this week. Gave away the 50K straight to funded account yesterday. Got more giveaways coming every week here. Subscribe so you can chat if you want to chat. Hop in the free Discord. Links are down below. Links everywhere. Here's the disclaimers again, guys. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. No financial advice. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Everything for entertainment purposes only. Make sure you read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links in my content like Code RDF and Top 1 Futures. Again, guys, link is in the chat. You want to check out Top 1 Futures. This deal is not running for much longer. Don't cry if you miss it. 50% off the straight to funded accounts, trading towards a payout from day one. Some of the fastest paths to payout of anyone in the industry. Make your own decision, do your own research, pick what's best for you. You got consistency rules. There's a limit on how many accounts you can trade. Different things are going to work well for different traders. You got to decide that for yourself. I'll see you guys here. Trading live almost every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of the day. Trade well, guys.